So Shelly, Jared, and Mike are joining us today. If put a question in the chat, maybe they'll respond, and then we will address all of your Q&A at the end of this call. So thank you all for joining me for our Understanding Wholesale. We're calling this a mini mastering class. We're going to deep dive into the wholesale training. You all are, for the most part, pretty familiar with me, running your onboarding session and getting you familiar with everything that we're doing. So again, like I said, we're just going to deep dive this entire situation. I'm going to share my screen with you all. And at this point, you should be pretty familiar with what your system looks like when you log into app.bakesmart.com. Here we are on our home page. And we're first going to talk about, you've just signed up for wholesale. What's the very first step that we're going to take? So we're going to walk through this start to finish. And the very first place you're going to go to is your settings tab. Everything in the settings tab is going to drive how your wholesale responds and the rules that you have to it. You're going to jump right over here to the wholesale tab. Okay? Your default setting is going to be general, and general is going to be where you do a couple of things. Okay, first and foremost, you're going to set up your wholesale contact phone number and email. This can be the same email and phone number that you use for your store, or it can be specifically for wholesale. I know that a lot of your inboxes are full with image requests and payment requests and all of that stuff, and so I do encourage you to have a separate wholesale email and phone number, but if you don't, you can carry that over here. Okay, next, on the right side of your screen is going to be your company information, and this is all pulled directly from that general company tab here, which is the first tab when you go under settings, which is where your company name and your logo and your colors are all set. So that's going to pull directly from there. So if you need to make edits, there's a note here that tells you visit that page and you can do that there. It's also going to kind of give you like a little bit of a sneak peek at what your customer portal will look like if you signed up for that, invoices and things like that that come through wholesale. Okay? Now, getting into the left side of your screen, you'll see here at the top we've got order lead time in days. Order lead time in days is going to be the number of days that a recurring order self-generates. That when you set up your wholesale customers and you have recurring orders that are, the same thing every day, every week, every month, this is going to be the number of days in advance that this order turns from a recurring order into an actual invoice, an actual order that's going to hit your production sheets. Okay, so this can be set anywhere from, 1 day to 7 days to 12 days to however long in advance you want to know. This does not keep people from being able to edit or adjust those. This is just going to tell the system when to make this an order and have it hit your production reports. Okay? I set mine at 3 just because I don't have a very big wholesale program. I don't need to know that far in advance, but for some of you guys, 7 days is probably the sweet spot. One big note for you guys, you'll see here, that I can't make this adjustment, and because so many things inside the wholesale portion of BakeSmart are tied to this lead time, if you get the day wrong or if you want to extend that or shorten that lead time, you do need to reach out to support at BakeSmart.com so that we can adjust that for you, okay? Because we just want to make sure that things don't break when that happens, so that is locked down, just so you guys know. Okay, so that is going to be your general tab. This is the very first thing that you got to set up as you start your wholesale kickoff. Okay, the next is going to be fulfillment. For your fulfillment, it works very similar to the way we set up fulfillment in settings. First, we want to say, are we going to allow, Broad Ripple is one of my locations, are we going to allow delivery available to wholesale? Once we check that, it's like, great. Do you want to allow... let's go add it in. Do we want to allow a customer to edit in the portal when they get delivery? Yes, we do. So we're going to mark that as well. Okay. Now this is going to work a little bit differently than the way we did your fulfillment in your settings tab for your retail locations. This is going to be based on days of the week. So for an order that's fulfilled on Sunday, meaning it is delivered on Sunday, what time do you want to lock it in the portal for your customers to say you cannot edit this product anymore, this invoice any further? I put Saturday at 1 o'clock. So if you don't let me know by Saturday at 1 o'clock that there are changes to your order, what's on there is on there, and this is what I'm going to deliver on Sunday. Okay, so this is where you can go through and you can edit each day of the week. I set mine all for the day before at 1 o'clock. That's my order cutoff time, for all of my wholesale orders. Okay? Then the next space is going to be your order windows. This is going to be hourly, pulling from your retail fulfillment, right? And when I say that, I mean when you have your location-specific fulfillment set here, fulfillment option set here, it's going to be pulling from the time that you set in your availability. And so for wholesale fulfillment, if you set it to hourly, it's going to pull from your hourly availability set to each of those locations. If you wanted to adjust that, you can set a custom window, and this will allow you to set, I have a 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. window, and I have a 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. window. Okay, this allows you to set your delivery hours for before you open or earlier in the day. It's not going to lock you down to just in that availability, okay? My delivery drivers left my bakery at midnight every night and then delivered until 6 a.m. Obviously, we're not open those hours for a retail pickup, so this is where I would make the adjustment for that, okay? If you don't, it's just going to pull hourly and assume the same hourly availability that you have set for retail. Okie dokie? And then now I've got another location for pickup. If we're allowing pickup, same thing. Sometimes when you offer pickup for your customers, for me, when my wholesale customers missed that deadline, that 1 o'clock deadline, I would tell them, no, you can't have it delivered, but you can come and pick it up. I would maybe bump this a little later to like 3 o'clock, just to allow for pickups to be ordered until 3 o'clock before that lockout time. And then I would allow them to come into the store, and they could only pick up between 5 and 6 a.m. or 6 and 8 a.m. Right? I wasn't going to open any earlier if they were coming to pick up, and so then I would allow them to come pick up there. And if they couldn't pick it up past 8 o'clock, that was an issue for me because I had a small store and I didn't want a bunch of product, laying around for people to come pick up. And so that's why I minimized these windows. But you can set it to hourly, and that will pull, again, directly from your retail hours that you've got set. Okay? All right. I didn't set anything for my downtown location just because it's faster, but if you do have multiple locations, you have the flexibility to set your delivery and your fulfillment time by location, and also set your portal lock times, your order lockdown time.
Heather's internet just looks like it went out.
There she is. Sorry. You will also be getting a wholesale manual that I'm putting together that has a much more broad explanation of all of this. You don't have to remember this. And if you'd like a copy of this call, we can also make that happen too. So just lots of options to help you guys retain this information because it is a lot. Okay. All right. The next setting that we're going to look at is delivery charges. Pretty straightforward. You name the delivery charge, you put in the amount, you save the delivery charge. For me, I had an outside 15 miles at $25. And I also, if you had a standing order or a reoccurring order that was under $40, I put a $10 charge on it. This is something that I did manually. It's not something that's going to automatically read, but I do this for my customers. But I wanted to show you that you did have that option as well. Okay? So that's everything under your wholesale tab. You need to have all of these things set up before you even begin to kind of work through menus and customers and things. The system require you to set these things up as well. I also do want to note that currently, in order for you to allow deliveries for your wholesale customers, you do need to have delivery activated underneath your fulfillment options for your store setting. So if you don't have delivery available for your location, it's not going to be available for wholesale either. Okay, we're gonna talk about decoupling that, but currently that is set. You do need to make delivery available underneath your store location to have it available for wholesale. Okay. Something else that must happen, and this is just in general and good practice for BakeSmart wide, is you do want to set the specific location for this device when you're working inside your account. It just helps BakeSmart understand where you're at. When you have multiple locations and this is just a device that is planted to that location, it's always good to just tell it. right? Hey, I'm here. And this feature is here specifically for the owner operators who travel between locations. If you show up, if I'm working at Broad Ripple and then I drive across town because downtown has a call out, I can change my laptop to downtown. Now I'm working specifically inside that downtown menu. Okay, so that's a great feature to have, but it does need to be set to one or the other, or at least a location in order for your system to track. Okay. One more requirement that is just good practice overall is making sure that you have your company time zone set. If your company time zone isn't set, the system is going to be confused as to what time it's supposed to follow. So make sure that that is set as well. So those are 3 big features to make sure that you pay attention to when you're setting up your system. Okay? So wholesale is set underneath settings. That is your wholesale. Who works inside your wholesale? Let's go visit our teams. Underneath teams, underneath your users, you've got both your manager, which are your email users, and your front of house staff, which is your pin-based users. Okay? In here, if you have an admin tag after your name, you've got access to everything. You have access to wholesale. But let's say, you don't have that on your name. You can go in here and edit, and you'll see down here at the bottom we have wholesale order taker. If I was just a cashier, if I was just a manager, a back of house manager, I would not have access. You can add wholesale order taker. You can stack the permissions for your managers, and you do need to add that if they're not an admin user. Okay? You can also make that adjustment for, any of your order takers up front. Okay? Cashier, order taker, wholesale taker. Okay, that way if you do have someone up front that you trust who has been trained to take wholesale orders, you can give them that permission in addition to cashier and order taker. Okay, so this is not specific to management or leadership. You can assign that to somebody that you trust up front to have them access that account. Okay, and that is all done underneath your settings tab, team, and then your users here. Okay, all right, let's get into the fun stuff, and that is going to be pardon me, setting up your customers. Here is a new area. Once you get your wholesale account, your wholesale subscription turned on, you're going to see this new tag here underneath your customer management, and it's going to be wholesale. This is where you're going to go and create those wholesale accounts. So go ahead, click here, and you're going to see this nice big red box. If your time zone or your location are not set, this will not populate. So if you can't click this button, go check those 2 areas first and then come back, right? This is going to say, hey, you need to finish setting up your account before you move forward. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, pardon me for just a second. We're going to go ahead and look at Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew as a customer that I set up. So when you click new wholesale customer, it's going to bring you right to this details page. The details page is the default page. This is where you're going to name the business name. And this is an important distinction, is that this is the business overall, regardless if they've got multiple locations, regardless if it's, just a single mom and pop shop up the road. You want to give like the overarching name of all of the locations here. So it's Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew. You're going to apply their tax exempt number and then for their exemption, right? Resale certificate is fine, right? And then any notes. The notes at this level are a company level note and not specific to your invoices, your orders, your delivery, anything. This is company wide. So for here, I put a note that says this is a also the ARPR person, and they get a statement on the 5th of each month and invoiced weekly on Monday for the previous week because their store staff doesn't turn their invoices in, so they just want to copy each Monday of what we sent the week before. Okay, so those are just notes that I put on the account for internal usage. Now below that, you're going to have your account owner. This is the person that set the account up. This is the main person who has all the permissions to make decisions for this account. That's going to be me with my email address and my phone number. We really do highly encourage you to have as much information as possible for this account manager because they're going to be responsible for invoices, statements, credits, right? This is the person you're going to call when there's an issue. And again, email address is always going to be the main signifier for a standalone account. A lot of accounts can share a phone number and share a name, but that email address is going to be the thing that makes them stand out as their own account. Okay, so this is going to be there. Okay, next, this is where we're going to go ahead and put in the location specific information for delivery. So Auntie Hetty's 43rd Street B&B, there's the address there. This is the primary address, meaning like location number 1, or this is where their accounts payable, accounts receivable is, or just in general, this is their primary. Okay, the address, state, all of those things. The default delivery location, this is going to be where your bakery delivers from for this address, right? Broad Ripple is my wholesale production facility as well as my number 1 retail location. So this is where all of my wholesale deliveries are going to come from. So I'm going to set my default delivery location to my wholesale production facility. And then I can then here determine if I want to put a delivery charge on this order. 43rd Street is not outside 15 miles. I don't need to put one there, but I am going to charge them $5 because it's a pain in the butt to get into their back alley and there's a ramp and whatever. So it is a $5 delivery for me because it takes a little bit of extra time because of where it's at. So I can do a delivery override here. Okay. Then I can add another address, and then I've got Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew 2, which is their second location. Different delivery address. This one is outside 15 miles. It's still coming from Broad Ripple. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there as 25. Okay, this is where you can come and remove address as well, and then add another address that's going to populate at the bottom and ask you the same thing. Okay, addresses without a default delivery location cannot create new delivery orders in the customer portal, meaning that if you don't have a default delivery location set up, your customers cannot self-manage a delivery inside the customer portal. So it's important that when they add a new location, you tell them where it's coming from so that they can self-manage that account. Okay? Perfect. So we're going to remove this one because we only have 2 locations. All right, so we've now set up the name of the account in both locations. The next thing we want to do is talk about who's in charge of this account, who has permission to manage this account. So it's going to be under contacts and invites. Okay? I do want to make my saved changes. It's not going to let you make a mistake. It's going to tell you that you forgot to push a button, so very clearly. So underneath contacts and invites, you will see that the account owner the information that we put on the previous page is going to populate here as owner. So there I am with my information. Okay, I can create a new contact here, and I'm going to say that, Shelly is my, my bakery manager. She's my wholesale manager. I do want her to have access to this account. She's not the account owner, and she's not a billing contact, but what she is she's got an access level of organization. There are 3 different access levels that we allow here. The top is going to be organization, which is going to be company-wide, every store, every location. The next is going to be location specific, in which they can work within the location. And then the third is going to be an individual. And the individual could be someone that maybe bounces between locations, that has less permissions than organization-wide, and you can assign them to which address that they're available in. Same thing with location specific. You have to assign them to a contact. And then organization is just, every address that you've got in the gamut. Okay, once you've assigned that access level, you can then decide for their order permissions, can they view, can they create, and can they edit and cancel? Well, for Shelly, because she's an organization-wide person, yes, they can do all 3 things. But you see that you can click and unclick and kind of compound and stack the permissions that they have, so you can get really creative with. Maybe I've got somebody who can just place orders, pick up the call and call them in, or log into a portal, but they can't view them and they can't edit or cancel them. They can just place them and then that's it, right? But you can kind of move around here and sort of create the permissions. And this is all based, again, on the information that you're getting from your customers, right? You're going to ask them, you want to add a new person? We can do that. Once we get to the portal, you'll see that they also have the permission to add their own people to their account once they set up their own account. So this is not something that you will have to do for them, hopefully, if they're using the customer portal. This is something that they'll be able to self-manage on their own. Okay? The next is going to be invoice permissions. You can allow people from the organization level, and I think from the location level and the individual level, to have invoice permissions. And this is going to say, can they view an invoice and can they pay an invoice, right? How much permission do you want to give them? For Shelly, she wants to have all of that permission as well. Okay? If I clicked account owner for Shelly, it would just automatically click all of those things because we're identifying her as someone who has control. If we clicked billing contact, it would automatically just click invoice and permissions because sometimes that's all your ARPR person wants. What do I got? Who do I owe money to? Let me take care of it. Okay, so when they log in, they don't have to worry about setting things or viewing things or accidentally deleting something. They can just log in, view, and pay. So that's what that billing contact checkmark does. So for Shelly, we're going to keep her at an organization level. We're going to give her all of these permissions, and we're going to hit save. We're not going to save her because she already exists in the system. If that happens, that means that the email address already exists, and that's when you reach back out to your customer and say, hey, did they work somewhere else? Let's get this cleared up. And then we'll call Mike and be like, can you delete this person from this account and move them here? But for the purpose of what I did, I've already added people. They don't know it yet, but my husband works for me. He's about to find out when I send him this invite to this customer portal. So what I've just done is I've set Billy up, and he is going to be able to view and pay because he pays my bills as a billing contact. And I've sent an invite to him. The invite that I sent is for them to join the customer portal, which is your customer portal for your product, okay? You can resend the invite if they say they didn't get it or it went to a spam filter, and you can also revoke it if you have fired them from being a customer of yours, or if the company calls and said, we had to fire him, you know, so you can go in and revoke that status. It works the same way it does when you add your team members and your management, resend it and revoke, okay? But if Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew were to call and say, you know, hey, Olivia didn't ever get her invite, you can come in here and you could say, well, we didn't send it, first of all. But after we do send it, you can hit resend or revoke. Okay, I'm going to revoke that one. And it's just like that. Okay? So that's all of your contacts and invites. I don't believe that there's a limit to the number of contacts and invites that you have because we want to work under the assumption that some places, like Walmart, are going to have 15 stores in your area that you might be delivering to, which means that you might have 15 heads of department and 15 assistants and 3 different ARPRs. So there's no limit to how many contacts you can assign to a singular account. Okay? All right, next is going to be account setup. We've now said who it is, where they are, who can control it, and now we're going to look at account setup, which is their discount, their credit limit, their balance, all of those kinds of fun things. So let's first talk about discount percentage. The discount percentage is going to be set to give a discount off of your retail pricing. And this is going to be based on products that you make eligible for wholesale, which we're going to talk about here shortly. So I've given Auntie Hetty Brew and Brew 10% off. It's as easy as just sticking that number right in here. And now every contact, every location associated with Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew, and every menu that I'm going to assign is going to have that 10% off retail pricing. Okay? I've also assigned a company-wide credit limit of $6,000. It can't be set currently per location. It is a company-wide credit because there's one person responsible for giving me all the dollars for these people, and so I want to make sure that we're limiting that to, it's not $6,000 a store, it's company-wide. Okay? And then the account balance is going to show right here, and this is an accumulated total of open invoices and credits, I believe. I think it takes all of those into effect. And so this is going to be that accumulated total for just a quick view. And another fun feature is suspend account. You can come right in here and click suspend really quickly. It's going to send them an email notification, and you can update that message with, you owe me too much dollars, or, you know, we got to talk about this. You can very quickly go in there and suspend that account, and then come back in and do the same thing where you unsuspend it once that balance has been taken care of. Okay, so super quick feature. I like to call the account setup like the quick view. How much money do you owe me? What is the percentage I'm giving you, and do I need to suspend your account? Okay. The other feature that we're going to look at down here is going to be assigning menus to customers, which we'll talk about after we create products for us. But if you want to see which account Auntie Hetty has, we can look right here and see that they've got wholesale menu full. But we'll talk about that here shortly. Okay. Moving on. Everything past account setup pretty much has to do with them being in active status, right? These 3 things you set up first day that they sign up with you, and then kind of most of the things after this sort of happen over time, right? You're not going to have much in here because this person just signed up this week. And so we do have a couple of upcoming orders, which are going to be their recurring orders that we're going to set up here. one-off orders that we've created. This is just telling me, hey, for the 3rd, for today, we had this this order that went out, and it was invoiced to them. It is open because it still has an open balance. And then for tomorrow, we already have this delivery that's ready to go out as well. It is an open order, and it is also unpaid. These are now orders. They went from being a recurring order to now an order in an invoice status. Okay? Have an order history on here. You can go ahead and pick a date, pick a time frame. All dates yesterday, the last 7 days, works very similar to the order status that we have. You can filter this by location. You can search by order number if you want to quickly search something. Works very similar to your retail order status. Okay. Next, we're going to be looking at invoices. We know that this invoice went out. I'm going to go ahead and open that. And so it's just like an order. It's got their detail information here. It's got their order updates on the side, all of the items. If they're like, hey, I didn't get that invoice, you can resend from here. You can mark it as delivered. You can void it, and you can also issue credits, right? They called, we didn't get our decorated sugar cookies, no problem. Jump right in here, find the product that we need to issue a credit for, reason for the credit, missed in packing. Spelling. Okay, we're going to issue that credit, which we're going to talk about here shortly. And then we can resend that to say your credit is good, ask you where it's going. There we go. Okay. Let's go back. Bum, bum, bum. So that's going to be your invoices. As you kind of get into the flow of things and you're going to have a lot of invoices, that's the easiest way, at least from my standpoint when I was running my wholesale team, is that if a customer called and said this was broken, this was missing, this was dropped, you could go in and apply the credit directly to the invoice for ease of use. Or if they've already paid that invoice and they're, saying, by the way, something happened, and you gotta go, oh my God, let me put a $50 credit on your account for you. That's what this next tab is. Instead of an invoice specific credit, you can do account credits. And so creating a new account credit happens here. You can go ahead and put a new one in here, and it's going to be, missed delivery. We broke their door, or something like that. And then you can put that dollar amount on here, save that credit, and it's going to show up right here. You can search for any account credits the same way, dates, what's outstanding, what's already been used up. So this is just going to show me what I still have available. And as this account credit is applied to different invoices and different payments, when we get to statements, it will diminish here. So it'll show you what the original was and then what's still available on that, and then kind of go from there. Okay. Statements is where you're going to generate statements for this customer. You can print them or email them if you want to snail mail them, or if they want to come into the store, or if you want to attach it to a different email, you can print it to PDF, or you can email it directly from the system. And so when you do that, it's going to ask you to pick your time frame. I always send them on the 1st and the 15th of the month. And then if you want to include pending transactions, which are transactions that were made today but not delivered in tomorrow, that's up to you. That's kind of how we handle are you invoicing for things that are about to be made or just things that are delivered. This is going to give you that choice between those two right here. Okay, and then you email, goes right to your customers. You don't have to do anything. You can also do this in bulk, which we'll show you in another area. Okay, now the last tab, you saw me skip over that. This is going to be reoccurring orders, because this is going to be like the bread and butter for you saving time inside your system. Okay, recurring orders rather, is where you're going to set your customers up for regular activity. So the first thing we do is we click recurring. We're going to say, yes, this is an active recurring order. And when do we want to start it? Well, this customer they don't join us until the 10th. That's going to be their first delivery date. So I'll set that up. And we're going to call this new weekly order. The fulfillment method is going to be delivery for this customer. And they're asking, well, where are we delivering that from? When location pops up in terms of delivery, it's always going to know where are we delivering from, not where you're delivering to. So Broad Ripple, again, is my wholesale production facility, so I'll choose that. What's the frequency? We've got a couple of different options here, okay? And they change the way this is set up as we pick them. So our daily is just every day. We're going to pick an address. We're going to do this to Simon Avenue. Delivery instructions are going to leave on the service bay. No delivery charge, or you can charge a one-off amount. You don't have to pick one of the delivery charges. You do also have the availability to put something in here. Okay, and then the notes for this is going to be, daily order, anything like that. Really not a lot of notes for this customer. Now, when you pick daily, it's going to say, well, we're assuming that you're delivering every single day of the week that you're open. That would be true. So the first thing I'm going to say, well, we're delivering Sunday through Saturday, and they're in the 2 to 6 delivery window because we're just leaving it out back, so we don't need to have anybody sign for it, right? If they did need someone to sign for it, I'd put it in the 6 to a.m. delivery window, and that's going to help my delivery driver and me sort of set our delivery schedule with these fulfillment windows, okay? The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and assign the different products from the menu that they've got assigned. And here, they have the opportunity to change Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all of those different things, and pick these different products. Okay? Just realize that we didn't add products, so let's go ahead and put a pause in this. I apologize for the confusion, but this is where we're going to set up reoccurring orders. Let's talk about the products that we're putting on that reoccurring order. And to do that, we are going to have to leave the customer tab. So our customer is fully set up, ready to go. They're ready to start accepting deliveries from us. So now we need to decide what can they get delivered. And to do that, we're going to jump down here to products. Okay. When you get into your product screen, you're going to notice now that there's a wholesale menu at the bottom of your product list. When you click that, you're going to see that it populates with a couple of different things. It's always going to have an empty box for you as you start your journey with this. It's a new menu, products, and wholesale account sign. So click here to name your new menu. And so for this one, we're going to say, wholesale general, wholesale menu full. We'll just call this one general. And I want to make sure that I add everything that I have available. Okay? And so this is where we're going to go ahead, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add products to this. Here it is, to this menu. This is alphanumeric, so it's going to automatically sort alphanumeric. So down here at the bottom, we're going to add new products. Now you'll see here when I start to search, nothing is going to show up, and that's because I haven't yet marked anything wholesale.
Yeah, we lost it. Nope.
Here I am, back.
Okay.
So
yep, you're back.
So this is going to work the same as your drop-down list for your general catalog, right? You're going to have the categories that you can pick from, and you can see that there's nothing in my cookies category. That is because I have not marked anything in cookies available for wholesale. So let's go do that. From your product list for cookies, I've got butter cookies, chocolate chip, and decorated sugar cookies. The chocolate chip cookies are going to be available for wholesale. So when I open that product details menu, you'll see again another new tab for wholesale, and it's going to ask you, is this available for wholesale? You're going to say, yep, it sure is. And then it's going to say, is it only available for wholesale? Nope, we allow this to go for anyone. Okay? In wholesale, and this is specific to wholesale, we want them to order a minimum of 6. I don't want to send one chocolate chip cookie to a wholesale customer. Like, I want them to order 6 at a time. That's going to help you for your production. Okay? They can then order 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to put an increment of 1. This works the exact same way it does in setting up your retail products. Okay? If you wanted to hold them accountable to ordering 6 at a time, your increment would then be 6. So then they get 6, 12, 18, 24. Okay? I don't care. They can get 6. As long as they get 6, they can have whatever they want. So I'm going to put a 1 in there.
Too soft. Too soft.
I am a little soft. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there. And now let's go back and look at my decorated sugar cookies. I've changed my mind.
Can I pause you on this real quick? Just with the wholesale tab there, just for a little context, with the available for wholesale only. So this, if you have a product you only produce for a single customer, you would make it only available for wholesale and then assign it to a menu that is only assigned to that customer. That was turning in my mind. I thought I'd share now. Sorry to interrupt.
Yep. No, you're good. That's exactly what want to go to now. So like with this decorated sugar cookie, it's a smiley face cookie. You know, I only want to make this available for wholesale, and it's telling me right now when I mark it only available for wholesale, it's going to remove it from my POS, it's going to remove it from e-commerce, it's going to remove it from general orders, and it's only going to be available now, like Mike said, to the menu that I apply this to. So I am going to leave that checked. They still need to order 6 of these. They can only order them in increments of 6. And so now that is how that's set. And again, it's saying this is not assigned to a wholesale menu yet, which is what we're going to go do. So now when we go back to our wholesale menu and we're going to go down to the general, this is where we're going to add product. We're going to drop to that cookie, and now you'll see that both of those items that I just marked for wholesale, in addition to retail and POS and e-commerce, and also the cookie that I marked that's only available for wholesale. I'm going to go ahead and add both of those products. Okay? And now that I've got those products added, I'm going to look at this drop-down menu. And you'll see here that the chocolate chip cookie, if you can see it, it's very lightly $1.49. That's pulling over the retail price because this system is saying, hey, this is for sale for $1.49 retail and e-commerce. Is it the same price for wholesale? Now is your opportunity to set that price. Okay? The other one, the decorated sugar cookie, we marked as only available for wholesale, and so now it's saying, well, you told me it was $2.99, so now I'm assuming that it's $2.99. Okay? This is a clarification that you understand when it right here. We set up Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew with a 10% off. That 10% off is going to be pulling from the retail price, which is $1.49. It will not pull this $2.99 because that is not a retail price. It is no longer a retail product. So it will not put 10% off on this. So any price that you have in here, I'm calling it the one price to rule them all. This is the be-all, end-all pricing, right, for your wholesale. So if there is a discount that you want to offer people for this, you need to apply it at this menu level. So we're going to say it's no longer $2.99, it's actually $2.75. So now every wholesale customer that gets this menu will get that cookie at $2.75, and then they'll continue to get the percentage discount off of the chocolate chip cookie from that retail price. Okay, let's save those changes.
I'd like to interject here real quick. You could also offer, so that chocolate chip cookie is going to be, whatever percent off its $1.49 retail price. You could put that chocolate chip cookie on a different menu and charge 75 cents for it. The menu is always going to be like the authoritative price. So you can have the products across different menus with different pricing on them, and depending on who you assign that menu to. That's the price they'd get.
Correct. Yeah, so if you see what I just did here, I have my wholesale general menu, and now I also have a coffee shop menu. And on my coffee shop menu, I do want to offer that chocolate chip cookie, but like Jared said, the coffee shops are small business, so I want to make sure that they make a little bit more money. I'm going to charge them less, and I'm going to be making I'm going to be making chocolate chip cookies anyway. So I'm going to override. And then I'm just going to have the 75 cents on any coffee shop that gets my chocolate chip cookies is going to pay 75 cents. And this is not going to follow the percentage discount we applied to the account. It's only going to pull from here now. Okay? So the general menu has been set. It's $2.75 for the decorated. It's $1.49 retail, and it's going to follow the pricing logic that we set at the customer level. Okay? So with that, you'll see here, there's another drop down that says wholesale accounts assigned to this wholesale menu in general. I'm going to add an account, and I'm going to click Auntie Hetty and Super Cool Coffee Joint you've never heard of before. Okay, we're going to hit save, and now both of these customers now have access to order from this menu. Okay, and what does that look like? Well, let's go up to the top and take a peek at our customer. I need to save. What did I not save?
Coffee shop menu, Heather. Coffee shop menu.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now let's look at our customers. And so now when I look at my wholesale customers and I go to Auntie Hetty's, we're going to see underneath my account setup, again, this is like the snapshot of the account. We're going to see that they have the wholesale menu general and the coffee shop menu. I don't want them to have the coffee shop menu anymore because we've now changed prices for them and they've got the wholesale menu, so I'm going to click that out. Okay? But if I made that mistake in error, this is another place that you can assign. Instead of assigning a customer to a menu, now you're assigning a menu to a customer. And you can do that right here underneath the account setup. Assign a menu, and it's going to ask you, well, which one do you want? Well, let's give them the pastries menu. So now they have both of those menus to choose from. Okay? So now when we go to our reoccurring order, when we want to do our new weekly order, this is where it's going to ask us, well, from the pastries menu or the wholesale menu, what are they getting each week? So I'm going to populate the week spread by dropping the pastries menu down. And I'm going to say, well, on Sundays they're busy, so they want 12 bear claws. And on Tuesday they only want 5. But it's going to jump up because we set a minimum quantity of 6 bear claws with an increment of 1. It's going to say you have to have at least 6. So now I'm going to pop that up to 6, and it's not going to give me that warning anymore. And we're going to go through every week and set this up. And then down here, for decorated sugar cookies, if I try to put 5 in, you'll see that it's going to give me the warning for 6 as well. Okay? So you can come through and set all of these up, changing days of the week, and anything that has a minimum or any information about it is going to pop up on this little information button right here. Okay? And you can also quickly look at the product by clicking on the little 3-dot icons. Okay, you can also add a note here for the bear claw if it's, packed separate for this one. Can't spell separate today. There you go. So that's going to be a note that pops up for your wrap packers for that specific product. Okay? So when you want to look at what those reoccurring orders look like, I'm going to hit save, back to your list, and then here's the list of the orders that they've got. So they already have a week, another reoccurring order here. Okay, so this is where you're going to build out the people that get the Tuesday, Thursday orders, the Monday only orders, the once a month, the second week of the month, the second day of the month. So if we did this, where it's the monthly, the fulfillment method is going to be pickup for this one, and it's going to be a monthly order. It's going to ask you, well, what week of the month? The first, the second, the third. Let's pick the last, and it's going to be the last Thursday of every month they get this delivery. That way it's not tied to a specific date because it changes every time, but you do have a lot of flexibility in there. Okay? This is probably going to be the thing that you spend most of your time working through is setting up your customer recurring orders. Okay, now let's talk about those one-off orders, and it's super easy, and we won't go through the whole process because by this point you guys know how to place an order. But when you click New Order and you search up Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew, right, and you start an order, which
Heather?
yes.
You're in and out. Can you repeat everything you just said?
Yes. So when you want to place a one-off order that comes out of sync with the recurring orders that you have set, you can do that by pulling up that wholesale.
Okay, let's see. So basically you can do it like following a retail order flow, essentially. I can't drive because we're in her world.
Right. So, okay. So we lost her. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up pretty much where she was.
Thank you.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
are you back? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Do
back.
you want me to drive and you can?
That's completely, yeah. So pretty much what I wanted just to get at is you can order anything you want for the customers this way, right? This is going to take you out of the restrictions you have associated with the orders that you've applied to their account, unless you're looking at this menu only exclusive products, which are just for this customer. Because I'm ordering for Auntie Hetty's, and Auntie Hetty's has access to the decorated sugar cookie, which is a wholesale product only, it's going to show up underneath this exclusive product for this customer. And it only populates to customers that have that exclusive product tied to that menu. Okay? So This is how you go through and you place a one-off order that isn't recurring. And this is also how you add like pies or cupcakes. Like it's their boss's birthday and they want to order a cake, but they want you to invoice. This is where you would come and do that. And this works just like the regular order status. It is going to pull through the pricing that you have set, either percentage discount or menu specific pricing that you have set to them based on those wholesale menus that you've created. Okay? We won't spend a lot of time on this because it just does work like regular. If you've done the rest of your settings appropriately, this should be a breeze. Okay, it should just pull through pricing and everything like that. Okay, now I know we're getting a little long. We're currently sitting at about 50 minutes. I do want to show you guys what your customers will see when we get to that invite. Okay, we've sent the invite to my account users for my different wholesale customers, and what they're going to do is they're going to get an email, and then it's going to bring them to a branded sign-in portal, right? Your brand. That's why you set your logo and your colors. This is what it looks like. Okay, wholesale sign-in. Welcome to the wholesale portal. We will provide you with some documentation that you can use to train your customers on how to get into the portal. 100% we will. Okay, so I've already set this up. I'm going to go ahead and sign in. Nope, I didn't. Let me go ahead and do this now. Oh boy. Too many browsers open. There we go. Okay. So I have now logged in. I am a customer of yours. I am a customer of Circle Cities. I'm Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew, and this is what I see as Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew. My dashboard is going to tell me what my next order is. It's marked for delivery. It's going to tell me what my open balance is, and it's going to give me my recent activity, including that credit that I issued for $50 because of whatever. Okay, I've got 2 orders placed and no invoices paid. I'm also going to be able to go to the orders tab, which is going to show me, here's our weekly orders. I'm going to view that, and it's going to bring me right to the invoiced status of the order that I have. And this is for tomorrow. Okay, I can generate this PDF myself if I need to print it. They don't have to call the bakery and have you send it. Okay, you can also go to your account, update the information, invite my own users, which is awesome. So they're not calling you and saying, hey, can you add somebody to my account? They can see right here. They can revoke them on their own, so they don't have to call you if they fired someone. And they can also update their addresses. They cannot update their addresses. They can just see the addresses. They will have to contact you to update that. You don't want your customers to be able to update their addresses without talking to you. Okay. They can also set their user settings, which is just going to they have update information here, and really the next order that they have coming up, they can view the invoice and what it's going to look like. Now they are unable to change this order because it has already locked itself out because it's past 1 o'clock, which is for tomorrow, right? So I had a 1 o'clock lockout for tomorrow, so they can't make any changes to this because I've already locked it out. If they wanted to place a new order, they can go a single order, which will allow them to do a one-off, or they can recreate a reoccurring order. So let's go ahead and create a single order. I'm going to order it for the 43rd Street location. I do want to have it delivered. I want to order it for Saturday, and 2 to 6 is fine because they can just do whatever. You'll see that I'm only getting the lists that I assigned to this customer. If they want to order anything that isn't on their list, that's when they call the store, and then that's when your store staff or yourself work through being able to order anything that hasn't been applied to them. The menus that we apply to your customers just allows them to work within those products at that price point in their own customer portal. Okay, so we can go ahead and move through here and place all these invoices. I just want to get a couple of these things. Oh, that one's 12. So I have to go back. Your customer is now going to know that your product rules are in place there. So then I'll go ahead and place this order. Order has been placed successfully. Now it's going to populate. And then on your end, when it comes time for this order to generate, based on the number of days that you set, it's going to then turn from this reoccurring order into an invoice, hit your production sheets, and move forward. You don't have to do anything. It does it all for it. Okay.
Real quick. That was a one-time order that is generated immediately.
Thank you.
That wasn't a recurring order. So if Heather went to her BakeSmart management app, you would see that order for that customer live right now. Yeah.
Cool. Transactions. But I'm going to go ahead and pop this out to the 7th. Yep, that it is. You'll see here this little note where it says not locked. That means that this customer has the opportunity to go in and make adjustments to this, because my lock window is 3 days. Or excuse me, my lock window is 1 o'clock the day before delivery. So they have until 1 o'clock the day before the delivery, based on the rules that I set, to come in and change this order. You'll also see for this customer, it's telling them you've got 22 hours and 38 minutes to lock this order. If you don't lock it down, then you're out of luck. And you'll notice that my internal lock is different than the portal lock, because I assigned a 3-day window to portal changes, which means that I've shortened the amount of time that they can self-manage. They can call the bakery and I can make this adjustment until 1 o'clock before it's delivered. But if they want to do it on their own, they only have the time set in the portal to do that. Okay, that's pretty cool. And you'll see this one up here. It's like, no, you can't do nothing, too late. So sorry, pal, it's already coming. So, okay. I know we covered a lot, and know that the entire team that's here today will be here to answer questions and walk you through it. I just, with so many of you getting into wholesale, I just wanted to take this opportunity to do this big broad brush stroke through these different steps. Okay, so let's go ahead and unmute everybody, which I'll figure out how to do right now. Everybody's unmuted. And we'll go ahead and open up. All participants unmute themselves. Yep. Okay, we'll go ahead and open up for questions.
If you have questions, you need to unmute yourself.
Thank
She
you.
just allowed you to do that.
Hello.
Okay.
Is it just like
Hello.
a first one? Hey, so I came in a little bit late, so I don't know if this was covered, but over on my wholesale screen, the only options I could put under general are order lead time, contact phone, and contact email. And when I enter in that information, it says banner message missing. And I saw from your general tab, it had all of those input options. So I don't know if something needs to be configured first, because I didn't have the option to enter in all that info.
Got it. I will jump into your account and look. I think there was some Mike, you're muted. Mike has an answer probably.
No, Alex, you said you're just seeing the order lead time, the wholesale contact, and the wholesale contact email? Okay, let me check on that real quick. I'll get back to you.
He might not have the portal subscription.
That's what I was thinking. I'm going to go check that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. That was my only question.
So we went through a lot. Does anybody else have any questions? Now is the time. Don't be shy. Again, we will cover this because we're all in the onboarding process. So
when somebody places an order online, whether it be recurring or one-off, any other notification besides it popping up that 3 days before or whatever you do, does it slip print automatically, or do you get it like a little number one, there's new orders there or anything like that, just so you don't miss an order here or there?
we don't currently have that set up. I think that was something that we discussed. Maybe Jared's got an update on that.
Yeah, I mean there is no notification, right? Like you get it just pops into your order flow, which is why we have the lock times will and the lead times will keep them from placing one-off orders or adjusting their orders or anything. But no, and I feel like we send too many emails right now. So I don't know if like in-app, some sort of in-app notification, if that's something people want, we can certainly try and figure something out there. But yeah, I feel like another email would probably just get lost.
An email probably would be great, only because you're not always sitting at your desk. But an in-app notification saying, "Hey, there's orders waiting for you," or even a direct printout. Hey, listen, it's going right to your printer, and it's there. You walk by, you pick it up. You know you're getting orders coming in, something like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Just something to eliminate that missed order.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Like Jared said, being able to optimize the lock time and then the generation time is
Helps.
good. Yeah, 7 days out is a sweet spot. That's what Shelly was saying. That
That's
way,
what
it's just there, right? It's just
It's
already
a,
hitting sheets. Get out of here. You're not
yeah,
invited.
and we did talk about the best practice. Like internally, we all come to the table with different ways of operating a bakery, and all of you guys operate very differently. You guys are printing at time of order because you're like, look, I just want to take an order, print it, and it gets hung on a clip to whatever day of the week it needs or a future clip somewhere. That's also how we operated. Many bakeries we work with and serve do batch printing on a schedule. So they're not printing any orders until like 3 days before, and then things get printed and put in. So I hear you. I agree with you fully. We need some sort of notification. I even think kind of like our wholesale works now. Or I'm sorry, our web orders and classic works where you get an email and at least triggers your team to be like, hey, I got a new web order. I got to go print that. Go ahead, Jared. Sorry.
Would like an unread status, like in an email, like in your email, you know how when you haven't read it, it's like dark, there's an unread status when nobody's touched it. Would that be
right.
helpful, or would you like a list of, oh, there's a new order, new order, new order?
I would think, and I don't know how everybody else is, but
Yeah.
a little in-app, whether it be on the top with a number one, hey, there's 5 new orders, because those emails build up so fast, like you said, and I don't even look at them anymore because I forget which ones are unread, and between me and it gets to be crazy with the emails.
Yeah.
So every day, if it clears out and say, hey, you have 5 new orders that came in, and then you start from 0 the next day, there's 4 new orders that came in that day, something like that, where, hey, you're going to go grab those new orders and be done. If you don't look at them until 7 days before, then you don't even have to worry about it.
Is that a non-printed status? Basically an order that's come in and not been printed. That's what you want?
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay.
We do have those filters on the order screen, and I think also, well, on the order screen, you can filter by wholesale only, and then also filter for not printed, and that'll give you everything that's, there we go. So yeah, transactions, so orders up, there we go. Wholesale only is checked right there, and then you would say not printed here for order status, and that's going to give you everything that's not printed there. Would be great. I agree. It'd be great to say, hey, here's how many orders we're taking today that have yet to be processed, as sort of a way to review and validate.
Look for future. I think it would just simplify everything up, and just when you're leaving something up to somebody else, hey, listen, I go actually walk past my PC and see how many orders are there or whatever. I'm just thinking of holiday times and, when all these things are happening at one time, something to simplify it.
Great stuff. Christian also had a question about, do you have to have a location subscription for the commissary to list as the default delivery location tab? And I believe the answer is yes. If you are delivering from commissary to your customers and you need to assign the default delivery location to your customers, I think you do have to have that location subscription. Is that correct, Mike? Or Jared?
Yes. Otherwise, well, or I mean, you could sneak it in under another store. I think if you're not doing any pickups at that location, then if you were to assign it, who asked this? Christian, you asked this?
Yeah.
Right. So I think you could assign it to like Midtown, right? And then Fort would be the ghost. But you know that all deliveries that are wholesale are coming out of Midtown. Or I'm sorry, out of the Fort. Right. Because I mean, what's the point of having a location license for the Fort, really? Right.
Right. I understand. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. You bet.
All right, folks, any other questions that we can round up for you? Again, I know we covered a lot of material today. I'm going to be bringing documentation to you. You're going to have a wholesale manual coming to you. We're going to provide you with documentation to give to your customers. And then I know I've got some phone calls scheduled with a bunch of you. We'll go over the details that we talked about here. I just wanted, again, my cat is trying to invite herself. I'm sorry. I just wanted to, again, make sure that we covered the big broad brushstrokes because it is different. It's almost like a software inside a software, right? It does function just a little bit differently. But also the same, because your production reports are going to come out. The bakers don't care if it was sold at retail or wholesale pricing. You know, they're going to get the same thing. And so, yeah, I appreciate all of you being here and listening. And yeah.
Stephanie, did you have a question? Yeah.
Is it possible to create different lead times for different wholesale customers? Like instead of on a product level, as a customer level?
It is not.
Currently,
What?
would love to dig in with that with
Yeah.
you and figure out what you're trying to achieve there. Need to achieve.
If I could ask one more question.
Oh yeah, Stephanie,
Let's
did you get real quick? Hang on, Stephanie.
Yeah.
So why are we treating the customers differently in terms of their lead time required?
Because I have one wholesale customer. I have a grocery store that orders cake balls and macarons from us, but she doesn't order on a regular basis. And so when she does order, she'll order, you know, in quantities of 24, but every flavor we offer. And so like for a coffee shop, I can do their 3 flavors, you know, 2 or 3 times a week. But when she orders, you know, 30 different flavors and only 24 of each, like I can't get that done in 3 days.
Got it.
I wouldn't give her portal access. I would make her call the bakery. Yeah.
And then you can also create a menu specific to her that allows you to at least like not cluster things in 6s and things like that. You can create a menu just for her, send her just that menu, and then revoke her portal access and then just have her call you. That way you've got control over that. But that way you're not, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That way you're not lumping her into, you know, your coffee shops. You are treating her to her own menu, and you do have that ability. You don't have to name a menu, you know, for the products that are on it. You can create a menu specific to that wholesale customer with its own pricing as well.
With
But
the
you
lead
can't
time
do
on
lead
the
time
product,
for that menu, correct? Like you can't create a lead time for this one specific menu.
Well, that's a clever solution.
Yeah.
I like that better than the different products because you're going to eat it on the product. Like, Heather, I was going to suggest what you suggested because the only problem is you're going to eat that on reporting, right? Like then now your cake ball types and macarons are broken out because this is 3-day lead time macarons. This is a 2-day lead time. But to put a lead time on a menu, we'll dig into that one. That's for people who are smarter than us to tell us whether or not that's possible. But it's neat.
And talk to you more about it. Yeah, I can
That'd be great.
talk to you separately.
Yeah, because my brain immediately goes to duplicating product, naming it specifically for her, giving it a lead time specific to that product, and putting only those products on her menu, and then hiding it in the rest of your system. That's something we could absolutely do.
What I was starting to do.
That's a today feature. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that now. Yeah. There's a way to break it. I'll find it, and then I'll.
I love that. They are already terrible orderer, so we want to give them this to make it to where they have to follow some sort of a structure.
Yes, we can. Yeah, let's book time and we can work through that. There is a solution that is available now while we dig into for sure. Christian also asked if we're going to be able to send this video out to missing staff members. Yes, if you would like a copy of this to send out to missing staff members, just let me know, and I'll get this sent out so that you can share it with folks. So.
Yeah, we'll post it we'll have this on our YouTube channel, which the goal is to be able to create more content like this that we put on our YouTube channel so that it becomes a resource for you guys. We'll probably keep all this Q&A out of it. We'll clean all this up. And as we continue to dive deeper into these training videos around specific features, we might even do some, me and Heather, just kind of role playing a bakery in a feature set, film it, and put it on YouTube, because we think it's a really great way to just train the details of how to click through building things and features in here. And any feedback you guys have, like, hey, we love the video, or, you know, we need more written content, we're all ears, because we're over here creating that stuff. Mm-hmm.
All right, last.
Vinny had another question,
guys,
I think.
I will see you all in your. Yep, Ben.
Real quick, I just want to make sure I'm getting the special pricing in the categories right. So if you have those cookies under two different pricing menus, so to speak, with two different prices, and let's say they sort of overlapped with one customer. So you wanted that pricing, those, let's say coffee shop menu and the pastry menu, you had those cookies in there at two different prices. But in one customer, you were giving them both of those menus. What would happen with those cookies? Would you need to make a whole separate menu for that customer, or would there be two cookies at two different pricing levels? Again.
Yeah, it's a great question. I was watching Heather do that, and I was like, well, I guess we're just going to watch a car crash here live. I was going to test that out after this meeting to see what took precedence, because I don't know the answer to that. So when Heather took the other menu off of that customer, I was like, oh, okay, good. Yes, I will try and figure out what happens there. And get you an answer. Right. Yeah, for sure.
Then if there's a way to break it, I will find it and then tell Jared I broke it.
Listen, you broke my whole system 5 times over. I know. I'm only teasing.
Awesome.
All right.
So, all right, cool.
All right, I'm waiting.
All right.
All right.
Good.
I think that's it, everyone. Again, if you want a copy of this, reach out. If you've got follow-up questions, reach out. I really appreciate you all coming here. You just saved, how many of there are you? 17 hours of my life teaching you this to individually. So thank you for being available for me for that. Yeah, we will continue to do this. I will send copies to anybody who requests it. And then if you've got questions in our next onboarding, we'll cover them then. Okay?
Perfect.
All right.
Great stuff, Heather. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.